Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to The Bar is Open with Beth and Greg. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you, babe?
I'm doing well. Oh my God, look what we have on. We've got Eric and Duke Tansey. How are you guys?
Hey, what's up?
Really
So
good.
happy to have you guys on. We had some technical difficulties. No, I had some technical
don't say we.
difficulties beforehand, like as always, right? It's just normal shit that goes on to a podcast. It's typical, right? You guys doing well?
Yeah, I'm just super psyched to be on this podcast.
Thank you so
We're
much.
We're psyched to have you.
So when I reached out to your dad, Duke, he mentioned, he's like, maybe I bring Duke on the show. And I was like, holy, that'd be awesome, right? We get you on there, talk about skateboarding. Skateboarding's like one of the things I grew up doing.
Where did your skateboard go?
They're all over there on the wall.
Oh,
And I
you used to
sent
have
you
them up
guys a
over here.
picture.
Yeah,
Eric, did you see that?
I
And,
did.
It's from 1986, a
What?
signed
Signed Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk's picture. It's like right over here to my right-hand side. I've
Oh,
had that
sick.
for a million years. So I know you just met him. We'll get into that here in a couple of minutes, but thank you guys so much. I
All right,
appreciate
are
it.
you going to introduce us?
No,
No?
no.
Okay,
That's
well,
Beth. I'm Greg. We're The Bar is Open with Beth and Greg. You can find us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Give us
All the good
thumbs,
places.
thumbs up, all the good places.
You know,
more-
I'm super jealous of you guys because
Why?
your shirt is so comfortable. And I probably wear the Bar is Open shirt that you sent me. I don't know. You sent it like a year ago.
I gave it. No,
Yeah.
I gave it to you at the Super Bowl party,
Yeah, like over a year ago.
like
yeah.
2.5 years.
No, a
Was it
year
two-
ago, babe. You were just really drunk. You don't remember.
No, you were in Austin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah.
Was
it'll
that
be
that's
2 years
over?
in February.
Well,
Okay, so
It
2
could
years.
be 2 years. Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Not yet.
remember.
Either
think so
way,
yet.
it's so soft and it makes me look skinny, so I wear it a lot. But like, honest to God, like I was at my distillery, I don't know, like maybe like 3 months ago, and some dude was like, "Oh, you have that podcast? What is it? Like The Bar is Open?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, it's failure to stop." And he's like, "Oh, well, where did I get The Bar is Open from?" I was like, and my wife goes, "It's because you wear that shirt like every day, honey." And I'm like,
Nice.
"It is one of my favorite shirts."
They're
I love
so
that.
comfortable.
They
And
are.
tomorrow I'll be sending you guys some fresh ones. as
Oh,
well,
dude, I wear
so-
that shirt all
yeah.
the time. I love that. Like people ask me like all the time, like, what is the pig dinosaur on the back? I was like, dude, I have no idea.
That's special edition. There's only one of them.
Yeah,
They're Porcosauruses.
because
Ah.
one time we were talking
Porcosaurus.
about Jurassic Park, but I couldn't say park. I kept saying Jurassic Pork. The whole damn show, Jurassic Pork. And then Julia, how do you say her?
Manguia.
Manguia drew a picture and sent it to us. We were like, oh, that's going on a shirt.
Yep. So we
Very
put
nice.
them on the back of some shirts. Our first run.
I think Jurassic Pork is that dinosaur, the T-Rex restaurant in Disney World. I
It
think they have a
is.
Jurassic Pork.
Oh,
on the
did
menu.
they really?
They do.
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
So
They
but we came up with some grab, or Julia
Yeah,
came.
Julia
up
came
with
up with some graphics.
Disney owes you.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll send you some fresh shirts. Absolutely. So again, recap. We've got Eric and Duke Tansey on tonight. Eric's host of several shows out on Failure to Stop podcast. You've got all sorts of good stuff out there. And Duke is co-host of Grommet Vommit podcast, which is amazing and it's crushing. So we're going to talk about that. Plus these guys, they're all into all sorts of crazy stuff. You know, Duke skateboarding all over the East Coast, everywhere. Tansey's
I
doing.
loved your IG post
Yeah.
earlier today with your skateboard. That was rad.
That was awesome. Yeah. Little shove its and everything.
Thank you.
But we'll get into it. We'll get into some stuff. Are you guys good? Ready to go? All right.
Nice.
Thank you again so much. So how are you guys? You guys doing good? I know you guys just got back from Virginia. I think, what was it, a couple weeks ago, maybe? That was
Yep.
pretty rad trip, right? Jackalope Fest.
Yep, I'm actually wearing the Jackalope Fest shirt right now.
Nice.
Nice.
How did that go? What was that experience like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was probably the best trip I've had, but probably not the best one I'm going to have.
There you go.
I'm probably gonna have better ones, but that was
A pretty high bar right there.
Yep. that was probably the best one so far.
Was
That's
it
awesome?
Was it your first one like that, or have you done other trips like that, like with festivals and stuff?
Well, more of like I've done contests, but they're smaller.
Yeah, local
and
kind of
they're
things.
Well, yeah, sort of. I've been to this thing called the Myrtle Beach Am. It's
Okay.
a big one. It's pretty big. It's
Like
Yeah,
a
it's a
regional,
pro-am. It's a
more like
pro-am.
regional kind of pro am.
not even close to as big as Jackalope. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a pro.
Really
Myrtle
fun.
Beach Am was a pro. I mean, actually, if you won Myrtle Beach Am, the grand prize, which was like a couple $1,000,
I
but
think-
you also got a fully paid trip to Jackalope,
Oh,
Virginia
geez.
Beach. So King of the Grom in California, the main prize was a trip to Jackalope, and then like there was some other qualifying events, and Myrtle Beach Am was one of those in South Carolina.
That's
But
rad.
Myrtle Beach Am was open, so
Anybody
he-
could enter.
anybody could enter. So they could like basically a 32-year-old won. You know what I mean? So like there's
Yeah.
no chance that Duke was gonna win, or any of my kids were gonna win.
But you just gotta go for it.
you just
That-
gotta
it's a
go
great
for it.
experience.
Hell yeah, dude.
right?
That's
Yeah.
the
Now you know what to
attitude.
expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
But they
Um,
lucked
I-
out. They did a podcast with the Jackalope guys through their podcast.
Oh, cool.
And the dudes that put on the Jackalope Fest. And for those of you who don't know, the Jackalope Fest is like the X Games of Canada. They've hosted it in Brazil. This was the first year it got hosted in the United States.
I was telling
Um,
Beth about that. Yeah, I was like, it's
that's
this
cool.
new tour
Yeah.
that's kind of coming down here. It's awesome.
It's huge. This was the first one in America, and this was the first legal base jumping contest in America. It's the first time somebody's legally base jumped off of a hotel. So they had base jumping, an 80-foot rock wall, a $1 million concrete street course on the ocean, like 10 yards from the water, like high tide was
Wow.
damn near lapping up onto the park.
Didn't they
um,
say they destroyed that thing like
Yeah.
right away after?
Like, yeah, they built it. It was up for 3 days, and then on the 4th day they tore it down, and they
Wow.
built a 13-foot vert ramp. And so Tony Hawk, Bucky Lassick, Reese Nelson, all the pros, the street skaters, the monster team. Dave Duncan was the announcer. Dave Duncan's like pretty famous. He's like the
I
X
grew
Games
up-
announcer.
yeah.
Yeah, Olympic
grown
So
up with
we
them
announcer.
should
all.
totally go next year. You would enjoy it way more than I would, but I love seeing the feats that people do.
Wait till we get in. We've got
You say
lots and lots
80
of
rock
questions for
rock
you
climbing
guys.
wall, and I used to freak out when I used to climb like a 30-foot wall. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm too high. I gotta get down.
Yeah, and these
I
guys
can't
did it with no
imagine 80.
ropes. These
Oh,
it was
shit.
a
Free
contest
climbers.
with no
Yeah.
ropes. So
That's
it was
insane.
it was
It's like
insane.
Alex Arnold stuff up on
So,
like the Grand Tetons.
I have to tell you a couple things. So, Reed said Eric needs to take his shirt off. So there's your first request to take your shirt off.
Take
then-
it off. Take
Don't do
it
it
off.
yet.
said-
Just
Bill-
get a couple beers in you, bro.
Bill
Save,
Schofield said, I
save
don't
some
know how
for
to
us,
act with a
for the rest
child
of us.
here. So that's really funny. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
worry. Don't worry.
Duke
Don't
over
worry,
there being
right?
like, he'll take it
Exactly.
off later. Don't worry. Let's get a couple more Rolling Rocks in him. Why are you drinking Rolling Rock,
They
by the way?
so skunky.
I literally grew up in, I think that was, everybody would get Natural Light, and I would grab a 6-pack, a 12-pack of Natural Light, and I would grab a 6-pack of Rolling Rock because I had to go to work because I was the responsible one.
Yeah.
Why are you drinking that now?
So my mom was just in town, and
Okay.
I guess
That's
she
her
drinks
beer.
Rolling Rock
That's
because
her
like,
beer.
there's a sixer in the fridge
You're
of
like,
Rolling Rocks. So
Fuck it. Let's go.
Somebody's got to drink it.
I didn't.
Free beer.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
didn't
cold.
do it. But I also have Modelo over here. It's just a little bit warm.
Oh, thank you, Duke, for grabbing that before the show.
I bought like
Grabbing
a
the
30
room temperature Modelo.
yeah, I bought a $36 bottle of wine to celebrate tonight, to be on this podcast and have the wine. And like I brought it home, and my wife, like, it sucks like when your wife knows just as much about wine as you do. And she was like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "You bought that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have it on the show." And she's like, "No, not a chance. Like, I'll be
She's
waiting
like the
for you."
$8 bottles for
after."
you, buddy.
That's so funny.
I was like, "You're pregnant." She was like, "I can have a glass of that."
She can have a glass of that. So
So
it's
you-
funny that you
right.
say that because earlier today I asked Greg
This
how
is
many
funny.
kids you had, and he looks at me just straight face. He goes, 11. I almost lost my shit. I was like 11. He goes, I'm just kidding. I think he has like 3 and 1 on
4
the
or
or 4
5,
and 1 on
something
the
like
way,
that.
or-
4 and a half. Four.
Four,
Four
four and
and
one
one
on the way, right?
There
Okay,
you
that's what it is.
So
Yeah.
4 and a
Wow.
half,
So
basically.
3 boys and a girl now, and then 1
Yep.
on the way.
There you
That's
go.
what it is, right?
One due in August.
I'm actually
Oh, bless her heart. She's really pregnant then.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Duke?
I'm actually going to Woodward, and the due is on the day I'm leaving. So
Aw.
I'm probably going to come back to a new baby sister,
Nice.
Oh, that's
which is
awesome.
gonna
That's
be
awesome.
really. this is
You're
gonna
the
be really
you're
cool.
the
Yeah.
what do they call it? The patriarch brother. Is
So
that a
you're the
thing?
oldest, yeah?
You're
dude?
the oldest brother,
Yep.
right?
I'm the
Yeah.
oldest.
You have to kick
Nice.
everybody's ass for
Nice.
everybody.
You'll be really protective. Like I'm the only girl. I have 2 older brothers. And they were both a lot older than me, 9 and 14 years older than me. And I remember one time, you can't really play this game anywhere, but it was I don't know what you call it now. You used to call it
It used to be called Smear the Queer.
Smear the queer.
Yeah, smear the queer.
Smear
You're
the
allowed to
queer.
What's that
And-
again?
That's when you throw the ball up against the wall, and then if you
And then
touch
you
it, they get to
smash
peg you.
all your friends.
Well,
Oh,
no,
no,
that's,
no, no.
that's
Smear the
different.
Queer is
Smear the
rugby.
queer is yes,
Smear the queer is
basically.
rugby. Sorry,
And
that
I was the- that's wall ball that you're thinking
yeah,
about.
Oh, yeah, or
no, smear the
yeah.
queer is rugby
Yeah.
without any touchdowns.
Yes. Well, and
Yeah, you just
so
crushed
I was
each
the
other.
only girl on my street out of like 6 guys, and I was very much a tomboy my whole life. So I would play Smear the Queer, and I came home one time broken pinky finger, just sideways. And my brother was like, who did that to you? And I was like, we were playing games. I don't care who did that to you. And I told him, this kid named DJ, he went to DJ's house and was like, you ever touch my sister again, I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah.
So that'll probably be you with your 2 little sisters
Probably.
eventually.
Just don't hit anybody in the head with a skateboard. That's
Yeah, no.
illegal. Just saying.
No.
I can't. I won't hit him
Just
with a skateboard.
plead the fifth right now. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I can't
Yeah, you're
promise
fine.
with the wheel, but I can promise with
smart.
the board.
No, I
So you guys, you're a skating family. All of you skate?
Yeah, my dad.
did until about 2-3 months ago. 4 months ago.
He broke his arm. He still cruises around the bowl every once in a while, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
my mom's kind of made him stop.
Oh, I know
Well,
that
'cause
very
he's-
well.
Dad can't be all broken and have like a broken knee and still run all the stuff, right?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Greg also got that right before we got married. He got that you cannot skateboard anymore.
separated
You
my
always
knee in
come
a
home
bowl.
hurt.
And then
Yeah.
also fell off the top of the coping and landed straight in the bottom of a bowl. Gave myself like a
Ooh.
stage 3 concussion.
He broke his earbuds. That's how hard he hit.
Yeah, I smashed. And of
Ah.
course, I didn't. And I was like 30,
Nope. You were
29,
younger. You were a
something
little bit
like
younger
that.
than that.
And I was
'cause,
like,
yeah,
all
it
right,
was
no
right
more
before we
bowl
met.
skating. And you know what? When you're in corporate world, you got to kind of.
Well, last time he skated, he came home hurt again, and I was like, "That's it. I can't have you do this."
So now I just pushed around. I've got 3 or 4 skateboards in the garage.
I got you to. I need you to be. So now we just longboard,
Yeah.
which we haven't done in a while.
It's fun.
but yeah.
I've still got my old skateboards, but absolutely skateboarding. So a little background on me, Duke, just kind of for you guys, is I grew up skateboarding. And there's an interesting tie between Tony Hawk and Raleigh, right? That was where I met Tony Hawk, but it was
In
back
Raleigh?
in Raleigh at
Marsh Creek.
It was actually a skate shop called
Oh, yeah.
Aloha Skate Shop back in
Okay.
1987, 1986.
Whoa.
The
So
old
this
fart.
is- I was 10 years old, maybe 11 at that time. So I was about, how old are you, Duke?
10.
10. So I
10.
was right at your age, right? My older brother was a skater. So my older brother, Joe, he's 4 years older. So we went down and back then it was Pal Peralta. It was the actual Pal Peralta skate team came out. And back then we didn't have skate parks. We had little
Sidewalks.
launch ramps and stuff like that, flat parking lots, launch ramps. And people would be doing like judo airs and,
Oh my
different
gosh, I
things.
love judo airs.
Right? Absolutely. So that's back in the day that I grew up.
And people used to shoo you away, right? Like, get out of my
Yeah,
parking
like
lot.
so I grew up skating and Beth had she made it. She's like, back in the day, we didn't have skate parks.
Uh-uh.
Like I didn't have skate parks in my little town and stuff like that. But we literally would jump up the school
I think I got
stairs
introduced
and
to
like
skateboarding my sophomore year in high school. I dated a guy who built a half pipe in his backyard.
pipe.
Pipe. I thought I said pipe. Did I say pike? I always do that. And I remember riding the skateboard, but sitting down, like going
Yeah,
slightly up and then sitting down and riding it. But that's when
we
got-
built our
yeah.
first half pipe in my buddy's backyard, little mini ramp.
No, this one was
Right.
huge.
And that's what's amazing about nowadays, right? Is you guys have
parks.
I really think it's an amazing thing, and I think that's why you're shredding, you're just crushing it. Is there's parks everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we skate a bunch of parks, right?
The one thing I hate about parks is they normally don't have a pump track and they pretty much never have a vert ramp. That's all
What's
I
a-
hate. about
Oh,
them.
you getting into vert ramps and stuff
yeah, I
now?
love vert ramps.
You
What
like-
is that?
What's your where it's
Vert?
literally got a vertical?
Oh, Lord.
It's
Explain
like it's
it.
going
Explain it.
straight. It's going straight down and then into a ramp.
Okay.
Into a
like-
transition.
Yeah, like let's say you put a ramp against the wall and you went up and you got onto the wall part, that would technically be vert because it'd
Yeah,
be going
like
straight
literally
up.
like straight up and down,
Alright.
right?
Yeah, so for it
So-
to be vert, it has to be vertical.
Yeah,
has to be-
exactly.
Vertical, right? And then, you know, like when I grew up, that was a big deal. We'd have to go way up into Maine. And there was a place in Portland that
It's
we
not
would
like
go
it's that
skate.
far. New Hampshire's tiny.
Everything's huge.
So Eric, let me ask you, as a dad, and you see him start to like increase his, do you call them tricks? What do you call them?
Yeah.
When you start to see him increase what he's doing, and obviously the danger factor goes up a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Do you just like close your
Pucker?
eyes,
You got-
or what do
You
you
got
like?
pucker factor? Your butthole pucker?
I mean, they really like because all three of them skate. Now, my
Uh-huh.
5-year-old, my butthole puckers because my 5-year-old's doing stuff that like
They were
my
doing when they
8
were
and
10.
10-year-old, like my 5-year-old almost dropped vert before my 10-year-old did. And
Wow.
like I think one of the only reasons that my 5-year-old didn't drop vert that one day, or at least try, was just because like I think he saw that I wasn't ready for him to do it. But yeah, my 5-year-old does scare me, but he hasn't
'Cause-
really like gotten destroyed. But he's doing ramps just as big as Duke. Now my 8-year-old, I don't worry about at all, because he is just like his mom, where
More cautious.
he analyzes everything. He's very quiet, and like he'll do a trick, but like he'll never practice the trick first. It's like he practices it in his brain for like days and days and days, and then he'll just come out and do it.
And
Oh,
then it
that's awesome.
happens.
And you're just like, whoa, what? Where did you even learn that? Like, I've never even seen you practice it. So whereas Duke like sees something and he'll just be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then
I'm
he'll
gonna
just
hit it.
smash, and then like 2 days later he'll get it. My 8-year-old's like a little bit more like, yeah, I
Analytical
can
about
do
it.
that, but I'm gonna like I'm not
Think
gonna-
through the process of doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm gonna like think what would go wrong and how would it go wrong until you find the solution.
Whereas your 8-year-old, what's
No,
his
that's
name?
what he's saying. His 8-year-old does that.
No, I know. What's your 8-year-old's name? I'm sorry.
Augie.
August. So
Yeah.
Augie, do you think he's taking into consideration the actual ramifications of failing, or no? Or is he processing
no, I
that?
think he
Like meaning, like you go off some stairs and you crash.
no, because like he sees Duke crash like constantly. But like my my wife is like borderline a genius, like master's degree, graduated highest in her class. It literally like reads like 2 or 3 books a week. She's
Oh, geez. Okay.
on a whole
Yeah,
nother
yeah.
level of genius, and she's very introvert, very quiet. But when she speaks, like never once do you catch her talking about something that's not correct, right? Like she
Okay.
doesn't swear.
Oh.
Like she doesn't get anything wrong. And I'm like, I'm not being mean. Like I'm legit. Like if my wife says something that
Yeah.
she saw on the news, like she's 100%, like it's been
Confident
verified.
in that data.
It's
Yeah.
been checked. The data is right. Like she knows.
She's a fact checker.
Yeah, huge. And my son August is a lot like her, I think. So
Okay.
I think just I don't know, man. Like when he does tricks, like I think it's like math in his head. He's
Okay.
kind of like mathematically figuring out how to
Calculating
do it. It's very different.
how
It's very
to do
different.
it. That's
They're
does
very
it from
different kids.
He does it from a scientific perspective versus
Yeah.
a
Which is
physical
awesome.
perspective.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was thinking about
do you
this.
think,
Oh,
Duke,
go
do you
ahead.
think your sister, how old is she now? She's little, right?
Yeah, she's one.
Do you
She
think she'll
just turned
skateboard
one.
with you guys eventually?
Oh yes, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys
As
are a
soon-
skating family.
As soon as she can learn how to walk, which is like she can stand up on furniture and everything, we have to raise the crib because she just stands on the crib so tall. But
She's jumping off that thing. She's base jumping from the crib.
once she learns how to skateboard, or once she learns how to walk,
Yeah.
that's where you go for it. You gotta
Alright.
put her on the board right when she knows how to walk.
Do you guys ski or snowboard as well?
No, but my friend JB2, who
We're gonna talk about him.
Yeah, I did the podcast with him.
Mhm.
He surfs and snowboards, and he does it sponsoredly. Like he's sponsored.
Oh,
He
wow.
rides for
I
stuff.
think he's
for
like
both
5th
of
in the
it.
nation under
Holy
16
shit.
in snowboarding. He's number 1 in the nation for surfing under 16.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Duke, funny story. Do you know who David Lee Roth is?
No, I don't think I do.
That is who he
Eric
reminds
knows who
me of.
David Lee Roth is.
That's who he
Yeah.
reminds me of. So have your dad show you who David. Like I watched a couple of y'all's podcasts. I was like, oh my gosh, she's a mini David Lee Roth. I mean, he just
JB12.
reminded
Yeah.
me of David Lee Roth
So
with
this
his
guy's like, my
sunglasses
little
and-
Joe,
Yeah.
right? And it's from the 80s.
Make your dad
and
show you who he is.
stuff.
You'll be like, oh yeah.
Have your
I can see
dad
that.
look up a couple of like Hop for Teacher videos and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
That was
Whatever.
my
Big hair
opinion.
bands. He likes
Yeah,
the
it's
big
the
hair
metal.
bands.
That was
the
my
hair
opinion.
bands,
But even
right?
just the way he talked reminded me of like
Yeah.
David Roth, right in the middle of the
JB2
80s.
is such a good kid
you know,
too. Like what a just like super good kid.
how'd
Yeah.
you guys meet him? How did you know him, Duke?
Well, I honestly can't remember, but I think we met each other. I don't know. Do
Well,
you
like
know?
you followed him on Instagram,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like they'd followed like he had
Oh
followed JB2
yeah,
for
I
like a
remember
year.
it. Yeah, I followed him, and then we were actually heading up to a competition that he
Okay.
bid for, and we asked, "Do you think we're gonna be able to see you at the competition?"
Right
and
on.
he said, "Yeah, I go to every single one." And we went there and we met him, and then that night we went over to his house. And
Was this out like California or something like that? Or
no, this is in Virginia
oh,
Beach.
is he up? Okay.
Yeah,
Are they
yeah
up
there
in-
was a
I-
contest in Virginia.
Are they
Beach.
in? Are they East
Okay.
Coast? It's
Yeah,
hard to
they're,
tell. With the
they're
beaches.
they're East Coast, but they're like,
Okay.
like he's surfing
For some reason.
Huntington. Like
That-
next
I
week
think
he'll
that's
be in
what I said.
That's
California.
why you think.
Okay.
And he was just in Colorado and Utah, I think.
Snowboarding
like,
and stuff
for
like that. Right
nationals,
on.
for
Yeah.
snowboarding. But yeah, like the kid's got I don't know, like 30,000 followers on Instagram and another. Couple
And
of
he's
tens-
what?
a
He's your
thousand.
age, right, dude?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
turns
12.
10 this weekend.
Okay.
Turns
And,
10.
uh,
All
That's
right.
crazy.
So he's 9, and you know, when you're at the top like JB2, you don't really have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
he's home
JB2.
school-
I was saying
Yeah,
You're
because
working
his
all the
dad
time.
is JB. His dad's JB1, so we just call him JB2.
Oh, okay. There we go. That makes
yeah,
sense.
there you go. And so we go to this contest, man, and like Duke had been following him on social media. We're big fans of his and everything. And then when the two got together, it was like they weren't like Duke wasn't really like a fan of them. They were just like skate buddies. And
That's the idea.
The dad
Yeah.
came over to me and was like, yo, man, like usually we go to these contests and like everybody's out to get my kid. Like everybody's like watching them. It's like, and all the parents are like, don't talk to that kid. Like he's your competition. You know, my brother lives in Florida.
Yeah.
And his nephew, my brother's nephew, surfs competitively. And when they found out that we were friends with JB2 up here in North Carolina, like my brother calls, he's like, yo, you know, JB2 is like my nephew's like nemesis. And I'm like, dude, your fucking nephew's like 8. And he was like, yeah,
Yes.
it's like his mom hates JB2. And I was like, why?
Why?
Like, why?
They're
And they're like, oh, he wins
kids.
everything, you know?
Good.
It's just because he wins, you know, blah, blah, blah.
He
But-
practices like nonstop. That's why.
Well,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
they
right?
just hate him because they're jealous. What they should
Yeah.
do is they should work harder
Yeah.
and be
Yeah,
friends
so
with him and
Duke,
learn some tips.
Right.
Duke was
dude?
just like Duke met him and like there was no like competition, there was no like blood there.
That's
And
awesome.
his dad was like, man, that's really crazy. And then at the end of the like those two boys, I'm like, even
That's
his
cool.
mom, JB2's mom, was like, hey, JB2, like, you know, don't practice your run too much in front of them, you know, because they're so used to
They want people ripping his
getting-
lines
ripping
and
his
stuff like that.
lines
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
that like she really
What does
didn't
that mean?
understand that Duke does not
Like
give
stealing
a
his trick
fuck.
line. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Duke
I
could care less.
focus
You have
on
your
my
own
run.
shit. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody does a really big trick, I might practice that one trick, but I'm not constantly following people and like doing nonstop their tricks.
You know what's
Yeah.
cool about that is you have your own style,
Yes.
right? And other people want to try and copy people
The
that are
style?
leaders'
Yeah.
styles. But if you have your own style, that's an amazing thing, right? And you think
Yeah.
about it, it's like with a lot of things in life, it's like you can have your own style, you can do your own thing, right? And keep doing that because
it's so
that's
weird.
what
I'm
make
not a
you
parent.
unique.
We have no kids, right?
Yeah.
But I grew up, I was a dancer growing up and competitions and all sorts of stuff. And I can't remember ever thinking I can't be friends with somebody because I'm better
they're-
than her or she's better than me. I
Why
was
would you
also
ever
I was
wanna
a
do
track
that?
runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
because like this is like super hyper competitive.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like,
Nowadays-
I never thought about it being hyper competitive.
It is skateboarding.
But you know, it's just different. The skateboarding community is just different, especially the competition. And there's still like a lot of animosity. People don't really like competitions in skateboarding. There's a lot of debate there. But I think at the end of the day, like JB2 is definitely like he's the 1%.
yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
kid, and when I say he's the 1%, and this is a dad, like I'm a dad of 5 kids, right? He's got a deaf, blind, and mute sister.
Okay.
And then he's got 2 other brothers, and his 13-year-old sister is completely blind, completely deaf. And she was like literally dropped on her head as a baby,
Aw.
from the story I've heard. So she's got some things going on, and this kid is like 10 years old. And I'm telling you, dude, as a dad, like I got teary eyed watching him work with that girl. She's 13, he's 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, this kid is the kindest, the sweetest soul. There's not really any malice in his body. You can tell that he's hated, but the kid's brain is on such another level. There's no other 10-year-olds, like not even my kids have like his brain. That kid, my wife said, if there's anybody in this industry that makes it, including our kids, I would vote that it needs to be JB2, because at 10 years old,
It's amazing.
he knows what he wants. He knows that he wants to go to the Olympics. It's not his parents. I mean, his parents go hard, like they push hard, but they're just trying to keep up with JB2. It's not like the baseball dad that's like, come on, son, do better.
You need to do,
Like,
they're not driving him.
No, JB2 is like,
He's driving
I'm
himself.
surfing this and I need to be there and I've got to get there. Like, I mean, this kid is up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I mean,
Doing
every single
push-ups,
day.
running the Philadelphia
Every
stairs like
single
fucking
day. Yeah.
Rocky.
So he
He's
drives himself, and his parents are just his support system.
And he's 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
and he's
insane.
10. He's the 1%. I've never met another kid like him. I've never seen a kid that's as talented as him. Now, I mean, I think that Duke beat him. And he did. Duke beat him this weekend. But like, it's a fluke. They're like,
That's
flukes,
fair.
You know what
It's
I'm
back
saying?
and forth.
You're never.
That's a good
It's like,
competition.
did Sammy Sosa, like, he's the one of the biggest batters. But if he didn't have McGuire, if he didn't have Barry Bonds,
Are
you know
you
what I mean?
saying that Duke's on steroids?
yeah, show him those guns, dog.
Let's see it, dude. Let's see them on. Ah, nice guns.
Yeah, it's just,
Gun
but
show.
Duke doesn't have that. Duke, Augie, and Elkin don't really have that competitive mindset. Or like, I don't know. What would you say, Duke? Like, what are contests for you? Like, why are you a little bit different than everybody, or just different than some kids?
Great question.
Because I'm just here to skate. I'm not here to be competitive or like make arch nemesis. I'm just here to skate and have.
You're here
fun
to
in the
have fun, huh?
competition.
Good for you.
I'm here to be a good sport. I'm here to have fun.
That's what
One
you
of the
should do.
things that I think about with that same exact thing is like skateboarding's a community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a community. And that's where, like, when I was your age, like I was
Wherever
moving
I
all
go.
over the country. My parents were in the military. So skateboarding, I could take it anywhere, right? I could skateboard in any parking lot anywhere in the United States.
Uh-huh.
Right. But when I got a little bit older, like 13, 14, 15, I could skate in a driveway or I could skate at a park, or we could, like, I have a couple buddies to be a little bit older. We go to a skate park, or we go to downtown Boston, or go to like a crazy set of stairs or something like that. But it was always about like hanging out with friends.
Yeah, that's it.
What do you think? What do you think? When you think about skateboarding like that, Duke, what do you think about like skateboarding? Like you said, it's not about the competition, but what do you think about it?
It's about the fun and being the good sport, being the good kid there.
Good for you.
I'm here to have fun, but I can't go crazy. I'll go crazy, but I'm not like all the other kids, like getting in each other's way. I'm just here to have fun.
There you go.
That's all I
You know
gotta
what?
say.
And that's what
That's
makes
good.
it fun.
There's
is
nothing wrong with that.
attitude,
That's a great answer.
So that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think it's like it's pretty funny because there's a lot of kids that are like cutthroat, and I don't know, maybe it's a parenting flaw, and maybe like
That's not a flaw,
it's a
Eric.
lack of aggression that my kids have. Because sometimes I
Is
want
it?
them to be more aggressive. Sometimes I'm like, dude, you guys got to turn it on. Like, you're getting your asses kicked out there. Like, these kids are snaking you and like bullying you, and they've got the eye of the tiger, and you guys are out there just like, I mean, you're skating great, but like you're cheesing. One guy told me that he was like, dude, I love going to contests when your kids are here because they bring an energy that I haven't seen since the 90s. And I was like, what? And he was like, dude, your kids are
chill.
like cheerleaders, man. They're like hyping everybody up. They're getting everybody excited. And I was like, yeah, so that's cool. But like in my brain, I was like, man, sometimes I wish they would just like sit back and be like, it's time to turn it on and get competitive. But
Eric, with that same mindset, is that can get them as far as being an ultra competitive person, because they become the person that is the go-to for that whole community, right?
yeah,
And you know what I mean? And that's like I do jujitsu, and I've talked about this. It's like, I don't need to kill everybody or hurt everybody
Well,
or
you
do
can't.
anything.
You're 46 and injured now.
Well,
so.
I mean, but nonetheless, I'm always hurt. And that
Me
was
too.
what, like, you know what I mean? You think about that, but that's also a great somebody needs to be the core of the skateboarding community.
You're the one they like gravitate to because you're fun and you also encourage them.
But you're also a rad skater. Like you're kicking.
But you hold your own at the same time.
Yeah,
so I
and
think
like
that's
Eric,
perfect.
you're still riding bulls and doing stuff like that. And Duke, you're doing kickflips. You're doing. I watch all of your highlight reels. I watch every single one.
Did you
Hey,
see him rack
so-
his nuts yesterday?
Yeah, dude. I saw you get off, and you're like,
So
you
that
know,
hurts as
know,
a kid, huh?
that
wait, they start doing
actually-
handrails, big handrails. Wait till you start doing big handrails.
Actually, it
Balls are
didn't
gonna
even
suck.
hurt as bad as it looked.
No,
It just startled me. It hurt, but like,
yeah, getting
not,
your
like,
balls
really
hit
bad.
sucks.
like I'm still a child. Like
Yes, you are.
it doesn't like.
Wait, hold on. Is it that, or is that you're
Oh.
tougher? That you're tougher than old men now? Probably. I
No,
think
No,
you're
your
probably
balls
tougher.
are still up inside of you at this point. That's
Yes,
the problem.
exactly.
Wait
Exactly.
until you're our age.
I
Wait,
feel
no,
weird
wait until
talking
you're
about Duke's fault.
20.
So I'm
Once
gonna
you
do
go,
this.
once you go through
Smash
I'm gonna do
puberty,
this.
every single thing in your body is weak.
Yes.
But while you're a kid,
No,
you
your
have so much
muscles are
energy.
strong.
Like
Your
you're running
balls are
around
weak.
like this is the story of Duke.
Yeah, and
Just running
that's
everywhere.
just
skating
don't give
everywhere.
up. Just wear a cup everywhere you go.
Hey, so Duke, how did you get into podcasting?
My dad always podcast, and I just thought it was really cool. And my dad and JV2's parents had an idea to start a podcast called Grommet Vommit. Our original idea for the name was Gromcast,
Okay.
but there was already
There's
like
somebody.
a Gromcast thing. Yeah, there was
Yeah, it
somebody.
was like a mountain bike podcast.
Yeah.
Those
Not a
bastards.
podcast.
Those bastards.
Okay, Grom
Yeah.
is like a little dude doing
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, little
Yeah.
person.
I'm
Yeah,
not-
youngin.
I'm not mean, but I'm competitive. When I'm competitive, I'm not bad, but I'll be like trying to get my run. And
Crushing people's souls.
I hate to say it, but sometimes you have to get in somebody's way to have fun. I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
sometimes you
It's
have
reality.
to. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to go for it. The podcasting got started because that night we hung out with JB2's parents and we went and got pizza, and then they invited us back to their place. And they were just like, man, like we're so stoked that we met you guys this weekend, because like JB2's never really had somebody that he just clinged to and wasn't threatened by him or felt
to
like
relate to. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were
Aw,
inseparable,
that's
dude.
sad,
and
actually.
it's kind of sad. Honestly, like I do get to see it and I get to hear, but you know what? Like Tony Hawk went through the same shit.
I'm
And
sure.
I tell JV2's parents all the time, I'm like, look, dude, when you're at the top, you're gonna have all the attention, and some of that's just gonna be negative attention. But I think
Yeah.
the family deals with it the best that they can, and they work really hard. And I have a lot of admiration for that family, because they're doing it, dude. They don't have the money that they need to do all this stuff, but like that,
They're
like the
figuring
dad
it out.
works, like the dad works his ass off. Like they go and get sponsors, they go and get help.
Wow.
Like, they go all in, man, and they still pay attention to their other kids, which is great. And
Yeah.
it's got to be really hard to have a kid that's like, I don't know. It's like,
An extraordinary kid.
yeah, when
right?
you have
I
a
mean-
kid like that, it's going to be tough to like, they've got to know, like, okay, this kid's like different than all the other.
What's his
fucking
name?
kids.
What's the I can't remember his name right
Well,
off the-
you always say, like, we talk about like people who became
Not the-
famous
he's a
for one
grown
reason or
he's a
another.
grown
but it's
ass
like,
man, the snowboarder.
funny because you said it.
Oh,
You're
Shaun
like,
White.
it's
Shaun
literally,
White. It's Shaun White,
it's
right?
literally the 1% of that group. Like you think there's got to be more than
Like,
like
could JB2 be
he's that 1%er.
next
is
gold
what you
Yeah, he'll
medal.
be
said, so
Shaun
it's
White.
kinda
He'll be
cool.
Shaun White if he
You know-
doesn't, if he stays healthy.
And you know
He'll
what?
be, he'll be
And-
the next Shaun White.
and
Well, he'll be the
Duke-
next JB too. I mean,
or yeah, no, and that's even better, right? And Duke being you're gonna crush because you guys are gonna
You're gonna learn
push
from each other.
You know what I see them as, like, and I've told Ashley this like a
Best
whole bunch
friends
of times.
pushing.
It's like, you remember the movie Sandlot? You remember at the end of the
Yeah.
movie, and Rodriguez is stealing third, or stealing home, and then the announcer in the booth, is the other kid that they played in the Sandlot with. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
I tell Ashley, like, JB2 is going to be Rodriguez stealing home, and Duke's going to be the one up there being like, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it, and then he cries
that's
when he
rad.
scores.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, I can see that happening, but
But
I mean, I
he-
think Duke will be, I think, my son August, and who knows about Elkin, but I think Augie beats Duke at some of these contests. Augie has like a very, again, like mathematical way of figuring out these contests, and he knows what the judges want to see.
Like an ultra technical. That's crazy.
He's super technical, and so like he made the podium over Duke. But I mean, Duke's beat him a number of times too.
Duke. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
Let's say, Duke, what do you think? So in your skateboarding, you're a young man. You've got a long life ahead of you. When you think about like your skateboarding life, what you look for in the future, like you said, you're going to we're going to chill, we're going to ride, we're going to have fun, we're going to do those sorts of things. Do you think you want to get into like maybe go pro, maybe stay amateur, maybe do those sorts of things?
Yes.
Or get into art and get into different things like design, like help your dad like design different things? What's up?
He hates art.
You hate
No,
art?
I love art. It's just the fact that I'm doing it when I don't want to.
Oh,
Oh,
like
that's-
art class at school.
That's very. I
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I feel
don't-
that way about work. I love working. I just don't want to do it on when people tell me.
I don't want
It's-
to. Yeah, I don't want to work when somebody makes me go to work.
I mean, like, if I went to art class, that would be fun. But the thing I don't like about it is they're grading art. Like,
Well, I'm
you
saying
just
like
do
designing
art. You do-
skateboards.
I
Like
get
if you
it.
came up with a
Designing
skateboard,
Yes,
if you came up with a skateboard company and it's
Or you know what? If
Grommet-
you're the cheerleader, you could be an
Grommet Vommit
announcer.
Grommet Vommit.
Grommet Vomit skate. We have to get in on that. We have to. we
See
have
what I'm
to
saying,
look
bro?
At that. Yes.
Dang.
He could grow up to be a broadcaster because he's gonna know. He'll
Dude,
be like
and
the,
yes,
the
you are
Tony,
you're the youngest person I've ever talked to on a
if you're
podcast.
gonna be the guy from Sandlot
And I'm
chewing on your
46
friend, you
years
may as well
old,
make
dude.
some
I'm
money
old as
off
shit.
of it and get rich being a broadcaster.
She's even older than me.
Shut up.
So
Yeah. Like I'm trying to I try to tell him like, you know, I think it's like cool that he wants to be a pro skater. I mean, is that kind of like what you want to do? Is be a pro
I
skater?
really want to be a pro skater.
Nice.
I never want to lose being a good sport, like being a good kid.
no, that's
I
fine.
don't want to lose.
So
I
there's-
don't want to lose.
Look up this guy that I knew when I was a kid, probably a little bit older than you. His name is Matt Pales. And it was back in the day. It's Matt Pales, Pales. And he was very much like what you are. And he's an artist now out in California. And this is back in maybe it's going to make me sound old, but like the mid 90s, right? And he literally got into art and he went and worked for a skateboard company designing their graphics for skateboards and stuff like that, right? But he was a pro skater.
August. Like August is so good at art.
You know what I mean? But it was
Hey,
a pro skater. And
So I have to share again from
Yeah.
the boards, and again it's Reed. He goes, a Friday night without a whiskey review, because I normally drink whiskey on Friday nights, but I didn't want to
Oh
tonight because
shit!
you know.
Let's go.
But
there's
he
a whiskey
says-
to
Grab me
review
that
right this-
bottle of rum over there, buddy.
He goes, I
Do
can't
a
wait
wi-
till
do a
Duke gives
rum
us
review.
a rum review.
There you go. Do it. Let's
I'll
do a rum review.
We
Grab
don't
that rum right
have-
up there.
We don't. I've never.
No.
I-
There's a new rum behind that one. You bring me that one too. I'll fucking drink that.
So we get a
Do you
rum
drink it
review on the
straight?
show. What's that
Oh,
one?
this is cream.
oh,
I'll taste it. Though. I don't give a
Rum.
shit. Somebody just brought it to me from Jamaica.
Nice.
you're making me crazy, man.
Drink.
So, Tansey, that brings me a question to you. How did you? I want to hear because I heard some things about you today that I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." So, what?
I'm
got
trying to
you
give her some insights
into
for you.
distilling.
What got me into distilling?
Yeah, like what made you
Um,
go? Because you were law enforcement, right? And
Yeah.
then you switched courses.
Yeah, no,
and-
I mean, I started out in the army, and then like I was going through the special operations course, and I met my now business partner, who's
Okay.
still currently active duty in special operations, and but he and I like between training and deploying really got into wine, and I think we did it for like the girls at the time, and
smart.
but then I met my now wife, and
Okay.
like I just kind of like wine just kept like I just kept wanting to learn more and more about wine, and wine is so much fun to learn about. And then I
And
was gonna
drink.
get, yeah, and I was gonna like I'm gonna get out of the military and be a wine salesman, but I was a shitty salesman, so I should stay in the army. So I did the only other thing a C student without college can do, and that's become a cop.
Yeah.
And I became a cop, and then while I was a cop, I broke my leg fighting a murder suspect,
Oh, geez.
and I was in a wheelchair for like 4 months, 3 months, something like that, and I was pretty high on codeine.
Okay.
My
is
wife
what
was
it
like,
is.
dude, you got to find something to do. I'm going to go out, do some shopping, run some errands. And when I come home, like, you've got to find a hobby because you can't just like lay around here all day and just
And be
get
drugged
jacked
up.
up on codeine. So while she was gone, like I was jacked up on codeine, and I enrolled in the Gallo Wine Academy online. Just like an online
wow.
course.
Did she
And,
think it was like a joke at first?
Dude, when I came home, like, cause I think I paid like $1,200 for it.
Holy shit.
and when she came home and I told her, she was like, "No, you didn't." And I was like, "Yeah, I fucking did."
I'm gonna
You
be a
told me.
sommelier.
I did what you said.
And she was like, "Honey, that's not something like you can't just be a hobbyist and do that." It had a 70% fail rate at the time.
Oh shit.
For people in the industry. So she was like, it's 70% fail rate for people who are in the industry. Like, you're not in the industry. That means you're not surrounded by wine all the time. But I'd already spent the money and I was like, I got to do it. And so
Screw it. Yeah.
for like 2 years, man, like I studied.
Oh,
I mean, I
geez.
just studied harder
Wow.
than anybody had ever studied before. I passed all the tests, passed all the classes. And then I went to take the certified specialist of wine exam, which I think at the time there was only like 600 in the US. And I took the test and I scored a 78. I think a 77 was passing.
Sweet.
And so I just snake by maybe like 75 was passing, and I got.
Is that like
78.
the question? Is that like
Yeah.
the entry, like the level 1 sommelier?
No,
remember
it's like level 2.5. It's like
Okay.
between. It's harder than level 2 sommelier, but not as hard as like level 3. So the sommelier
Okay.
program really has 4 levels. You have
I was
level
curious.
1.
Yeah.
Level 4 is called master sommelier.
Okay.
And then you have certified sommelier, and then you have sommelier, and then you have like an entry level sommelier.
Okay. I
And
remember we
so-
were at like this fancy fucking restaurant in Phoenix, like
Yeah.
Camelback Mountain or something. They're like, I'm a sommelier, a level 1. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah,
that like
level
a
1
GED?
is hard. Like level 1 is hard. That like level 1 is like maybe like having a 4-year degree.
Okay.
And then like level well, no, I'm sorry, like level 1 is like having a 2-year degree. Level 2 is like having a 4-year degree. Level
Okay.
3 is like having a master's.
Associates.
Master,
Okay,
okay.
gotcha.
But there's only
Doctorate.
250 in the world that are master sommeliers.
Oh,
And,
Jesus.
I mean, I think
Do
there's
you
like
keep
900
it like once you get it, or do you have to keep certifying as long as you want? Or
I think
is it
once
like
you
your
get master
MBA?
sommelier, I think
Okay.
once you get master sommelier, you know, you're
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 golden.
the lead of their lead. I don't think you go anywhere else but
Okay.
master sommelier.
You just
I mean,
keep drinking wine at that point.
I think the person who got their master sommelier diploma the fastest was Jennifer Simonetti, and I think she did it in like 9 years.
Holy shit.
But most people it takes like 20 years, 15
Holy
years,
cow.
30 years. I mean, there's dudes that have taken the test, their whole
Well,
life.
then
you know.
I'm just gonna continue to drink it and say which ones I like and don't like. That's like
Yeah,
the extent of my wine
level
knowledge.
1 sommelier is pretty doable. I'm like, you could, it's pretty doable, but I'm like I'm like between level 2 and level 3.
Do you keep
the
testing
certified
for it?
specialist.
Do you
No,
keep?
I haven't. I did 2 tests.
Well, you're doing
I
your
don't do
rum
anymore.
stuff now.
So
Yeah.
then how did you go from that to rum?
Well, because once you become a certified specialist of wine, it's through the Society of Wine Educators. So you're expected to be a wine educator at that point. And,
Okay.
That's kinda
and
boring.
I hate teaching people.
It's like a
shit.
librarian. Nobody wants to do that.
Nah, I
Alright.
didn't want to do it. I did it
Duke's
for a
going to
little
be a
while.
librarian later on in life.
Yeah.
Librarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thrasher Magazine
He's got to learn how to
librarian.
read first.
Okay, that's
Ah.
that's more like it.
Thrasher
That's more
Magazine.
like
He's a good reader. But
Yeah.
and so I wanted to do something, and if you want to take $1 million or if you want to take $2 million and turn it into $1 million, open up a winery. If you want to, have $100,000 and turn it into $110,000, open up a distillery, I guess.
All
So,
right.
Booze is the way to go.
yeah, distilling is like really, really hard, and it's just a really. I liked rum because rum is to me the most fun spirit of all of them, because you can have spiced rum, coconut rum, pineapple rum, aged rum, and you can make hurricanes and all sorts of different daiquiris and rum old
We've got
fashions and rum.
questions.
Yeah, I mean, rum is just so much more versatile than
Then
almost any other
bourbon or
spirit.
something like that, because that's what we've done. I don't
I'm
know.
a bourbon
we did
girl.
Beth's
Yeah, so,
whiskey
like,
review
yeah.
for like a year and a half, right? And
Yeah, but it's like everybody does that. Everybody like gets into bourbon first. I feel like, well, especially like in the last 10 years. But
Yeah.
like, okay, and listen, I have a lot of bourbon on the shelf. I'm not a hypocrite. Like I do like bourbon. I
Yeah.
also like tequila and brandy and everything else. I just feel like the bourbon craze is like everybody's like, I'm a bourbon guy. I'm a bourbon
Kentucky
girl.
or
Like, there's a million of them.
Tennessee or yeah.
But like, okay, so like, how long can you do that though? Like, how long can you?
We're
review
out of
whiskeys?
shit,
There's only
dude.
so many
No.
fucking to do,
No,
and they're all
you're
made
right.
from the same
Actually,
fucking
though,
place.
there's
Look,
a lot.
we have
Actually,
literally
I had
They're
no
all
done.
made
idea.
from 13 major distilleries though.
That's the thing. It's what like half of them, like a bunch of them that
Angel's
we've done.
Envy makes
Buffalo
a lot
Trace,
of really good
right?
ones. But
Buffalo
yeah,
Trace is
Buffalo
good.
Buffalo
Trace.
Trace,
You know?
yeah.
You know, and
So
those
I mean,
are
it's
the
a
big
fun
ones.
rabbit hole to go down. And I do like bourbon. I like that I don't.
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
like
No, it's
bourbon.
fine. Yeah.
And I drink a lot of it, and I think it's fun to be well versed in it. But like, I don't know, man. Like, you've never heard a rum person say that rum's overrated. Like,
Okay,
no,
so
Okay,
no
so
rum dude
what's the rum in front of you?
gives a fuck.
Real quick question. Real quick question.
Yeah.
Is do you taste test rum like you would taste test
Yeah, 100%.
bourbon?
What,
like
like
with a
on
couple
ice
glasses
or-
of, a couple
Yeah.
cubes of ice,
Okay. Oh, interesting.
swirl it around and
Yeah.
sit,
Yeah,
drink it that way?
And like, listen, rum predated whiskey, so you got to remember that like nobody wanted to drink whiskey; they were forced to drink whiskey.
Why is that? Because it was
be-
shitty barrels or just shitty
Well, it was the
Canes
Indian liquor, and it didn't taste as good as rum. But
sorry,
the
what?
French,
Indian
Liquor?
it was the Indians' liquor. It
Liquor.
was-
Okay, not liquor like liquor. Okay.
yeah, liquor.
There's a kid on
Um,
the show.
No,
Jesus
I
Christ.
have a
you don't fucking know. He can give you a dissertation on fermentation, though.
That's good.
I'm with my dad.
What? You like
So,
boo?
I
You like
mean-
you like rum better than Wait a minute.
No, no,
We'll
no.
not
You're
talk
not talking about rum with him. So like, but okay. So when people came to the United States, you know, with the colonies, the original colonies, you couldn't drink the water.
Right.
Nobody could drink the water here. So everybody was issued 5 barrels of rum per person per year.
Holy shit.
seriously.
Are we talking like the
until,
Roanoke
Like,
people?
dude, like up until like the 1790s,
Oh, that's crazy.
they were issued 5 barrels of
They were
rum per
just
person
drunk.
per year.
Everybody, was drunk
Everybody,
all
even the
time.
kids drank rum, but it was watered down because that was the only thing to kill the bacteria. They didn't know how to boil
Sure.
water yet.
It needed alcohol. Yeah.
The rum was all made in the islands by slaves. Well, who owned those slaves and who owned those islands? It was
Caribbean.
the French. It
Well,
was
the
the
French,
French.
Okay.
the
I was gonna
French
say
Caribbean.
English.
And
Yeah.
so the French owned more slaves than anybody else. And then they had Haiti, you know, Dominican Republic now or whatever, but they had all of the Haiti, they had all of Haiti, they had all the Jamaican islands, all the Caribbean islands were owned by the French at the time. And so if America was buying 5 barrels of rum per person per year from the French was getting all that money. Well, we had the Revolutionary War happen and pretty much lost all of our fighting age males, and the Brits lost all their fighting
Right.
age males. But remember, the French didn't come in until the very end and didn't really
Right.
lose anybody. So George Washington got appointed our first president, if you didn't know. And one of the first things he came up with was like, fuck, dude, like the next person that's going to fuck us up was the French. And the French
Right.
had already moved into the French Quarter, and New Orleans and a lot of Florida was occupied by the French. And so the biggest threat was the French because they had a full navy, full fighting age males. And so George Washington was like, all right, well, we're giving them so much money and so much power buying all this rum. We got to start making something else so that we can stop buying and stop feeding them money.
Okay.
So they started making corn liquor. Well, the thing is, nobody fucking liked the corn liquor. And they were like, this sucks. So they made the corn liquor tax free and they started to tax rum. Well, George Washington had his inauguration as the first president, and he had 50 barrels of what at his inauguration?
I don't know, but you
Bourbon.
didn't tell me.
Bourbon,
whiskey.
whiskey.
Bourbon.
whiskey.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. He had rum. He
Oh,
had
we
rum.
did have rum. Oh,
He
okay.
had
I was
rum.
thinking it was
So
the other
everybody
way.
was like, wait a minute, you're telling us to fucking drink this shitty corn liquor and you fucking have 50 barrels of rum,
I
the most
gotcha.
prestigious thing ever.
I
So
gotcha.
fuck you. We're going back. You know, typical politician, do as I say,
Yes.
not as I do.
Right.
So everybody
That's
goes
what I
back
was
to drinking
thinking.
rum.
Yeah.
And everybody goes back to drinking rum. And then he's like, by 1810, America was like, all right, fuck this. Like, it's got to stop. So they tax rum between 1810 and 1820. In the 10-year span, they tax rum 300%.
So it
Holy
taxed it out of
shit.
business, basically.
Right. So they
For-
tax
at
out of
that
business. Well, so now nobody wants to drink it. Everybody starts to drink the corn liquor. Of course, then we have that whole Elijah Craig,
Mhm.
not conspiracy, but like legend theory. I don't give a
Theory.
fuck. It probably
Elijah
was
Craig
Elijah
being
Could
a
have been
huge distillery here
like,
in the United
right,
States.
like the legend has it that he was the pastor and they owned a cooperage and the cooperage burnt down. And at the time, it took 2 years to make a barrel and there wasn't anywhere to store the liquor, so they had to move the liquor into the burned barrels. And that's where we have the 2-year that's when bourbon became
The
bourbon.
three,
right? They were
2,
like,
3 year
oh
rule or
shit!
whatever
Like if you
bullshit.
This
put
is
this
delicious.
if you put this shit in a burned oak barrel, it tastes good, So
Yeah.
by 1820, the French were, bleeding money. And so everybody started fleeing the islands, and then they had all those slaves. So then you had the big slave revolt because there was more slaves than French. And then you have then you have Dominican Republic, and then, all that stuff goes on there with the big slave revolts in the islands. Well, then now there's no slaves, right? Because the slaves own, like, there's nobody.
They own the
don't have it.
properties. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Nobody do the
taken
work.
Control.
Yeah.
So America was like, okay, cool. Like, we don't need any more slaves. We're not giving the French any more money. Fast forward 10 more years, now you're at 1830, starts to escalate with this, and then by 1865, 30 years later, you have the Civil War, no more slavery, yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, none of that would have been without rum, but, rum was, the word proof comes from rum. The word daiquiri comes from rum. Cocktail comes from rum.
What's daiquiri?
Strawberry daiquiri.
No,
bitch.
I know.
Well, no. Strawberry daiquiri is fake.
Man, strawberries just adding strawberries.
That's the only daiquiri I know.
Right. Well, Dad, this will be fun for you, Beth. Go online and look up a recipe for a real daiquiri. Just type in real daiquiri recipe, and it'll change your life forever. It's one of my wife's favorite drinks, and they're delicious.
Real daiquiri.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with strawberry daiquiris. They're not frozen. They're like a real liquor drink, and they're awesome. So the daiquiris were back then. These sailors were going from port to port, sailing all around the islands, and so they would pick up fruit, whatever island they were at, and they were rationed rum at 100 proof. Because it wasn't proofed down yet. They didn't proof it down until it got to where it was going, so it could have less barrels on the ship. And so they had this Navy strength rum, right? That's why they call it Navy strength, because the Navy.
I've never heard that term
100%.
in my entire life.
Oh, interesting.
100% is Navy strength. I've never heard that.
Navy strength rum just means it hasn't been proofed down
For the
yet.
rum.
So typically it traveled at 150 proof.
Oh, fuck.
Which is why you have Bacardi
Sorry.
151. And so then they would travel it across the ocean at 150 proof, and then they would proof it down to 80, and they'd put it on a spoon and light it on fire. And the bluer the flame, the higher the proof. And that's where the word proof comes from, because rum was currency back in the day. So you had to prove how much the rum had been cut by
We
catching it on
learned
fire.
something, I swear
I
to
did.
God,
He's so
every
smart.
time we have somebody on the show.
Yeah.
I've never heard that in my entire life.
Yeah. So
And he's
that's where the word
passionate
proof
about it,
comes
which is
from.
pretty awesome.
And daiquiri comes from these sailors would have this 150 proof rum that, like, let's face it, like nobody wants to drink that shit,
No.
right? Like
No.
150 proof burnt whiskey, like
It's-
nobody's gonna.
No, I
fucking
had
drink it.
120 proof bourbon
lighter
last weekend,
fuel.
and I was like, nope, don't want it ever in my life. It was so gross.
Yeah.
Now
There's a
imagine it
whole
not
bunch
even
up
being a
here
bourbon.
above us.
Because you got to remember they didn't have bourbon back then, so there wasn't this. The charred oak barrels. give
It's
you
lighter
sugar.
fluid. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Right.
lighter fluid. at
And
that
so when
point.
you have bourbon, at least there's some kind of a sugar in it, so it sweetens it up. So imagine 120 proof without any of the
it's like
caramelized
rubbing
sugars
alcohol,
from a
No, thank
barrel.
basically.
Yeah, just jet
Kind
fuel.
of. Yeah,
So-
jet
so
So,
fuel.
but what do you have next to you?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
try
I
that
don't
one.
know.
You were gonna taste it for us.
This
Yeah,
was
let's-
called Secrets Distilling. This was blended with blackstrap molasses.
Dude,
and
did you at least
spices.
get him a shot glass or something?
No, I'll just go.
Or
straight
is he
to
gonna
the bottle.
swig it
he's
right
gonna
out of the
drink it
bottle?
out of the bottle.
Like
So,
a man.
yeah, so daiquiri basically comes from these sailors
that's
had this
what I was
150 fucking proof rum, and then they had these fruits that they would gather from the islands, and the fruit would start to go bad, right? Because the salt
throw
in
it
the
in the rum.
air and the shit. And so they would
Ferment.
take the shitty fruit and stick it into the shitty rum, and then that's how they would drink it, because they were rationed rum and fruit. So
That's pretty.
that's
smart,
where the
actually.
word daiquiri comes from, or like that's
Okay.
the process of daiquiri. So like a real daiquiri is literally just squeezed fruit, and then you add rum to it. And they're usually very tart, very sour, and very
Huh.
strong. And a real daiquiri, my wife probably, when she's not pregnant, has one a night. That's kind of,
It's
and
awesome.
she's not going to have an old fashioned. She's going to have like just a classic daiquiri. And classic daiquiris are super fun. And like, with bourbon, you can't make a classic daiquiri out of bourbon, right? But you
No,
can make an
no.
old fashioned out of rum. Which is
I was
really
just
great.
gonna ask you that
Yeah, we said that
you
earlier.
just said an old fashioned. I've never.
I never heard that.
Bro,
I
either.
only-
I serve an old fashioned at my thing, and they're like, "What kind of whiskey is this?" I'm like, "It's rum." They're like, "No, I had the old fashioned." And I was like, "Yeah, it's rum." And they're like, "No, I had the old
Is
fashioned,
it
so it has
like
whiskey." I'm like,
a,
"Bitch, I fucking made that
Yeah.
drink, and it's with my rum. It's rum." And they're like,
So what
"Really?
kind of
This
rum is it? It's not the white rum.
Just
It's
aged, just aged rum.
aged rum.
Okay.
That's the
Aged
darker
rum.
rum.
And
right?
listen, if you're not like a sommelier, like if you're not
I
like
don't know shit
closing
about
your
shit.
eyes and looking like for fine notes,
Yeah.
I promise you, if I poured you three bourbons and 3 rums, I don't know that
You
you'd get
wouldn't notice.
100%. I think
Okay.
some
Yeah,
of the
that's
rums you
fair.
would say are bourbon, and some of the bourbons you would say were rum. If
So
I
what's a
went
good
with
rum?
all aged rums,
I'm not a rum drinker, so if I was gonna start drinking rum,
And we can't get yours here in Texas
yeah,
yet.
Yeah.
What
you're
would
in
what should I
Texas.
do? Yeah.
Yeah, we're in
Why did I think you were
Texas.
in Colorado? Okay, so you're in
because
Texas.
we
We
have
were in
been. We did
Colorado.
live there for a little while.
I got
We're,
you. So
we're in San
there's
Antone.
there's a Haitian rum that's pretty easy, I think, to find. I think I found it with Lázaro Lopez last time I was there in Texas. It's called Bourbon Court, BARBEN Court.
Okay.
But if you're on the bourbon train, I would say Kirk and Sweeney, KRK. It comes in like a big ball,
Okay.
and it's got a cork. But Kirk and Sweeney, it's a little sweet for me to just drink straight. I mean, it's still like 90 proof, but I mean, it's like
That's
it's like
pretty
a really
low,
sweet
actually,
bourbon.
right?
Okay.
I mean, that's.
90 proof?
I mean,
No, 80
Like
proof
that-
is the standard. So
No,
I'm,
no,
and
Beth
I'm an
likes,
80
like,
proof girl. I'm an
80
80 proof
proof.
girl. I like 80 proof
like
bourbon.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you know.
So this one's
whiskeys or
90 proof,
bourbons.
but it probably tastes more like 40 proof. It's pretty sweet.
Okay.
Kirk and Sweeney
Oh,
is
okay.
pretty.
And it's
But
KRK?
Kirk and Sweeney is probably a lot like Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
Okay, that makes
all right.
sense.
That's cool.
They're
I
a
like Buffalo
master
Trace.
distillery that's got like a
Right.
shit ton of
Bourbon
things.
Court is a little bit lighter body, but delicious. Bourbon Court, I think, is like kind of like one of my favorite.
can
It's
get it
kind of like one of my
anywhere.
favorite anywhere's one. But Kirk and Sweeney, like if I'm trying to tell somebody, like convince somebody to try rum against bourbon, I don't know.
Again,
like, I think
I
Kirk and
showed you
Sweeney's
the
a fun one
board.
to
We've
see.
Well,
done
I mean-
60 over the past couple of years.
That's
and
so
we're
sick.
like, dude, we're out of, and this was
No,
all
we're
her
not out,
idea.
But
It's all Beth's
I
idea to
so
start
you want to
trying.
hear how I got into bourbon? It's kind of funny. I had never read romance novels. I never watched 50 Shades of Grey. Like that wasn't my thing. And then when COVID happened, everything was exactly the same on TV. And I got so bored. I started reading romance novels.
Nice.
And all the strong heroines, when
Yep.
they would go to their big meetings, they would drink bourbon. And I was like,
The
you know,
CEOs, the women
think that's who
CEOs,
I
You know,
am.
right?
I think I need to drink
that's
some
the
bourbon.
one thing I have like a real problem with the wine industry and the bourbon industry is that like it's overtaken, and we only do this in America, and I'm not shitting on you, Beth, at all. It's everybody in America, but wine has become a social status where it's like literally there was this Pinot Grigio called Santa Margherita. It comes from a lesser desirable part of Italy. It actually comes from Val d'Age, which is like high. It's like lower on this mountain that grows Pinot Grigio,
Mhm.
and so like everything that's above Val d'Age is like the creme de la creme of Pinot
Okay.
Grigio,
Yeah.
and Santa Margherita comes from the lower level of that. And it was on a cruise boat, and you could only get it on a cruise. And some fucking rich bitch had it on a cruise, and she was like, "Oh, it's the best fucking Pinot Grigio ever." And so when it came to the United States, she was like, "Oh, it's the best Pinot Grigio ever." Well, when they found out what the price was of the Pinot Grigio, it was like dirt cheap. So they were like, "Well, nobody's gonna drink it because it's cheap." So they made it $18 a bottle here in the United States, so these dumb fucking
Marketing.
Americans would buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So like
yeah.
only in America do we make things like some kind of a weird social status.
Yep.
Whereas in Europe, wine is all about like how does it like if you have an expensive
Taste
dinner,
and
they make you an
quality.
expensive wine. If you have a
And pair
lower,
it.
Right.
yeah, and it's all about like you never want to outdo the chef with the wine, right? So like
Right.
you don't want to make this delicious meal and everybody's like, wow, this wine's really
Wine,
fucking
yep.
good. And
Yeah.
then your chef's like, God damn it, like I just
Screw
fucking
you
like
guys. Yeah.
I
busted
these
my ass
scallops in
Yes.
from
Yeah.
Yes.
you know.
And you're spending a $300 on
Well,
a fucking.
so I'm not. I'm a red wine girl. I like red wine.
And
And
I'll
I
change your life about that when we meet too, because I'll
Okay.
pour you some like really oak bomb Chardonnays. Because the only wine that has a taste characteristic of bourbon is a very oak bomb Chardonnay. Really oaky Chardonnays like taste a lot like bourbon. My buddy that I
I
know
wanna
the
go
distillery with,
to North
his
Carolina.
wife is a special operations chick, right? So she's killed more people than cancer. She's like a drone fucking pilot
Holy
in
shit.
Somalia. She's gnarly, and she's kind of like was all into that, years ago. I've known them for 17 years now, but when we all
Okay.
went through this journey in special operations, she was bourbon red wine drinker, CrossFit,
That's me.
bad
Her,
bitch,
yeah, yeah.
like I'm fucking tomboy. Until we all started kind of like going down, like really exploring beverage and wine and
Right.
rum and everything like that.
Mhm.
And so one night, like she was like, I would never drink Chardonnay. Fuck Chardonnay. Like I hate Chardonnay.
She's best
Well,
on a
I was
white
like-
wine.
And I was like, okay, well, like I read this huge book at the time, and it was a book mainly about Pinot Noir, but it would bore the shit out of you. So I'm not going to say it. But anyway, it's a big research thing out of UC Davis. And it was like this whole thing about why people don't like a certain wine and anything. So anyway, in this article, they had drawn 3 red wines and 3 Chardonnays, and they paired them together. And they blindfolded like 100 women, and they were like, tell us which one's red and which one's white. And nobody could get 100%. It was like 6 reds and 6 whites. And
Really?
nobody could get 100%. And so Mary, she was like, that's fucking bullshit. I could tell a Chardonnay. I fucking hate Chardonnay.
Yeah.
I want to vomit just thinking about it. And I was like, well, let's fucking do it. So the video's out on YouTube. We blindfold her away. I think we did 4. I think we did like 4 reds and 4 whites. And literally, dude, I think she like got less than 50% right. So,
Wow. Okay.
and
But
now
that's
to this day,
cool.
we're all Chardonnay kind of drinkers in the wintertime. I think Chardonnay in the wintertime is fabulous, especially when you're firefighter, because it a lot of Chardonnays to me have like a very kind of a creme brulee meets s'mores kind of taste to it.
Beth gets
which-
that acidity thing,
sometimes the
or
acidity,
maybe
I
But
don't know,
that's
I
in
think she
unoaked.
does.
So there's very little
we don't know
acidity in
shit about
Chardonnay, oak
Yeah.
Chardonnay. So Chardonnay can be oaked and it goes through what's called malolactic fermentation, where it gains
Okay.
lactose, hence
Okay.
malolactic. So it's very lactic. It's very milky. It's very like bourbony, right?
Okay.
Like if you try bourbon before it goes into an oak barrel, when it's still just whiskey, it's very thin, it's very light body, and has a lot of fucking acid to it. But when you drink bourbon, that's been like, think about like Buffalo Trace, how thick Buffalo Trace is compared to like, I don't know, like what's a Dickel rye? Like think about like how thin Dickel is compared to how thick consistency. It's like Dickel would be like 2% milk, and when you put Buffalo Trace in your mouth, it's more like whole milk, right?
got
like
a-
the
yeah,
mouth
okay.
feels like thicker.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
because it's gone through more lactic fermentation. So
I've
it
never
has
even heard that
lactose.
word.
I didn't
in my
either.
Well,
life.
now you have.
Incredible.
So malolactic fermentation.
Thank you.
So an oaked Chardonnay has a lot of lactose, which means it has like a lot less. It's like lactic acid, which is like a different than citric acid. When
Okay.
you put it in a stainless steel barrel or like a porcelain barrel or a concrete barrel, it has like a high amount of acidity and it's more citrusy acid. So like some people will get like heartburn or acid reflux.
Yes.
But there are red wines that do the same thing. So like if you
Yes.
get a really super oaky Chardonnay, I mean a Cabernet Sauvignon, like again, remember, think about like, or a Zinfandel, like a big oak Zen, not red Zen, not like the pink shit that's fake. I'm talking about
Right.
like
Yeah,
a big red 13% Zen. Like that is like putting whole milk in your mouth versus like a really unoaked Pinot Noir that's very thin. And so though the Pinot Noir is still red, I mean, it drinks a lot. Do you know the only
That's
difference
my
between a
jam.
red wine and a white wine? Do you know the only difference
No
is in
idea.
a red wine and a white wine?
I thought it was the grapes.
I thought it was the grapes too.
Is that
Like red
all
grapes?
grapes? What color are grapes in the inside? All grapes. What are they
Clear.
on the inside?
White.
Clear.
I get
So
clear.
every fucking wine starts out as a white wine.
Is
The
it
only
the
thing that makes a
skin?
red wine red is that they put the skins back on it.
Skin. Look at
And
me.
if you
I
take
knew
the
the
skin
answer.
off
they
early,
drop-
yep. And if you take the skins off early, it's rosé.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
mixture between red and white. So that's the only difference. So all wines start out the same white. So
Okay.
you know when people say like I hate Chardonnay, if
She
they
doesn't
like red
hate
wine,
it. It's just
I don't
like
hate
it.
I just don't drink it. Yeah,
indigestion,
yeah.
right?
yeah,
And it-
yeah, and that's probably because you're drinking unoaked.
It's
and
the
that's really
wrong
high in citrus. It's the
Chardonnay.
wrong one.
Okay.
So I would
Yeah.
challenge you to go and find like the oakiest Chardonnay. Go to a Total Wine, whatever.
No,
wine
we're just
shop
gonna
you
come
have.
out to Instill.
Yeah, yeah.
We've
yeah,
been
yeah,
talking
we could-
about coming out
we
to
could
North
do that,
Carolina and
but,
just coming and hanging out.
Or I
but,
might
you know,
just
like
hit you
my
up.
son
Like,
grew up
give me
in
some
the-
names.
My son Duke grew up in the distillery, and so he's been around rum his
Ah.
I
whole
know,
life.
and he'll be able to tell us, like, walk us from all the
Well,
different.
that's why you said he
tanks.
knows the fermentation process so
Yeah.
well. He's grown up with it.
That's
He used
awesome.
to, he
So,
does the tours
Duke,
and all sorts of stuff.
You're definitely going to be the master distiller. At what? How old do you think you'll be before you're a master distiller?
Well, he's got to be at least
Before?
21.
Like, how old do you think
Before?
you'll be when you are a master distiller? Like, can you be 18, Eric, and be a master distiller?
I mean, I think they can be a master distiller at like any age. I don't know if there's any law against manufacturing. I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
But
I'd
there's
be
a
kinda
law
curious.
about drinking.
But
So.
Well, you can't drink it.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
what
and
I'm
you
saying. At
can't
least
taste it.
21.
But he knows the process. And I was
Now
saying,
he
'cause
does, you know, from
you
an
could
early age,
serve. Yeah.
we allowed them to sniff wine and to sip it and spit it back out.
Okay.
To learn, you know, to learn about the process
but
because
it's a
only
very
every
European thing as well.
little
right? I mean-
while.
Yeah.
Every little while.
Yeah,
It was
it's
a
not all the
treat,
time.
not a
Yeah.
regular. Yeah.
no, yeah.
But you know, it's
Did
really
you like
cool
it?
'cause, you know,
Yes,
yeah,
I love
yes.
it.
he can pick out the smells really good. All of them are really good with smells. I can say like I smell
By-
lemon, I smell orange. You know,
Wow.
like they can
I
really
can't
pick
even do
out the
that.
undertones of wine. If you ever took my wine class, Beth, you'd be able to do it. Like I do like a 2-hour wine class with like fruits and vegetables and
Really?
chocolates and meats and
By
everything. And like by the
21.
end, you'll be like, "Fuck, dude!" Like I did. Well, go drinking broettes. I did it. With
Okay.
them. It was a lot
Do
of
you
fun.
do it
but-
at your distillery or do you do it?
No,
like,
I do it at private like
online?
house. I just do it
Okay.
for fun. Like if you guys
Okay.
ever like if we ever come out to Texas and you guys are like, come stay at our house, I'll
Yeah.
fuck it.
You're
I've done it
always
with Lázaro
welcome, yeah.
Lopez.
Okay.
And I usually go out and that's kind of like my gift for allowing people to let me stay. I'll buy a
There you
bunch of
go.
wine, bunch
I
of
was going to
fruit,
say,
bunch of
for
everything.
that, you
and
can
set
crash
it on
whenever
your
you
table.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I still, going back real quick, I think, Duke, by 21, you'll be running that distillery. I think that's the
think?
goal.
I
don't
think
know.
maybe. I
think
can
you could
already
run
make-
that thing.
I
Your
can already
dad's-
make every single drink that doesn't have rum in it.
There you go.
I can pretty
Yeah.
much like Roy Rogers and Shirley Temple. stuff like
Nice.
that.
Those were
Nice.
my
Stuff
favorite
like
when I was
that.
growing up.
Yes,
Roy
Roy
Rogers.
Rogers. Those are amazing.
best.
What's
They're
a Roy
bomb.
Rogers? Tell me what that is.
Roy Rogers, basically cherry coke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cherry coke.
Add a
All right.
add a maraschino cherry in there to make it even better.
Yeah.
What's a Shirley Temple?
Shirley Temple is Sprite and cherry juice.
Yeah.
Nice,
And
nice.
a,
I think of this
and a
back-
maraschino.
I think Shirley
Is it-
Temple is the cherry Coke, and the Roy Rogers is the one with Sprite.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay.
Right,
All right,
other way
listen,
around.
not gonna
Other
argue
way
with you.
around.
Hey, he
You
knows,
know your
brother.
wine.
He
you
knows.
know your rum and wine. I
There
know
you
my
go.
Coke and Sprite.
All right,
There,
dog.
there,
All right,
hell
all right.
yeah.
You just got it from the master, dude.
Absolutely. Couple
So-
of last questions
Yeah.
Go ahead,
here.
man.
So, Duke, going back to you on
Uh-huh.
the podcast, who is your, if you could meet that or interview that skater, that,
Anybody, if you could
action
interview.
sport hero,
Yeah.
whatever, who would it be at this point?
Oh,
Tell me you've
oh.
interviewed Tony Hawk without telling me you've interviewed Tony Hawk. Did
Have you interviewed Tony Hawk? Is what he's asking in a not
No.
so.
Oh, you interviewed Tony Hawk.
Do you want
No,
to?
they met him, but they
Damn
got to. They
I
got
know, I
to
saw the pictures.
interview. They got to interview his girl, Reese Nelson.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
am a
rad.
She's
huge
10,
fan.
dude. She's like kick flipping.
She's
She's doing
shredding.
540s,
I'm
720s.
her like biggest fan. Like
His
I
daughter.
love her work. Her style is so nice. She's like
Smooth,
kickflip nose
crushing.
slide in her own way over a gap. I just don't know how she does it.
Well, there you go.
That's awesome,
Who,
right?
Like, if you could interview one person, who would it be?
Who's the next one? Anyone you could think about?
Next level.
Okay.
Who's your favorite skater?
Let him think.
There's
Let him
my
think.
favorite skater.
Yeah, who's your
Well,
favorite skater?
he was my favorite skater when I was little, but now he's like top 3.
Okay,
when
that's
I
fair.
was growing up, Zion F's was
Okay, nice.
actually like I wanted to be him when I got older. Like that's who I wanted to be.
Nice.
Okay.
But I guess there's this kid called Lasered Crawford. He is extremely good. He's not like Rodney Mullen or
Super
extremely
technical, like
popular.
super technical.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's just got a
But,
good style to him.
I think he would be really fun. Like I think he would be the type to be on a podcast.
There you go.
Right on. That's
Nice.
good
He
to
would be
know.
Love
the
it.
type. Like
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
it's
that
no,
would
it's
be so
awesome.
fun.
So it's funny
Yeah.
that you brought up Rodney Mullen because he's
Yeah,
older than me.
Mullen's awesome. Rodney
Dude, I'm
Mullen's
46. I'm
awesome.
46 years old.
Bucky Lassick, Rodney Mullen, they're all classics.
Dude, yeah. You
So,
suck. I love you so
we-
much, and
we
it
end
makes
the
me so
show.
happy that you know Rodney Mullen's name with like dark slides and all the things. You go
'Cause
back and
he
watch his.
invented the dark slide, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I know all of it, dude. If you ever want to talk to
How about
straight
this? This will
skin,
blow your mind. Like
Let's hear it.
who is your other favorite like old skater, like old skater? Like you dress as him for Halloween and
Oh,
Jay
that's funny.
Adams. I love Jay,
Jay
Adams.
Adams. Nice.
That's
I
hilarious.
from
Yes.
Dogtown, from
Yeah,
Dogtown, and
Dogtown
Z-Boys.
Dogtown Z Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Did you
That's-
did you watch the documentary about
I
Dogtown
watched
Z
the
Boys?
documentary and the movie. Whole
Nice.
thing too.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I
It's
swear you were
amazing.
probably like 4 when that came out. What do you think, Eric? Like something like that. I'm trying to think about
When Lords of
When-
Dogtown came out,
when the like
he
Dogtown
wasn't
Z
even
Boys.
born.
Was
Oh,
he
you're
not
talking
born?
about
I'm
me?
like, no, him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking
When-
about me or
no,
Duke?
when Duke,
Duke.
was born.
Duke.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
He
yeah.
I don't
wasn't
like.
alive.
Yeah, Duke.
When the
I
movie
think
came out.
Lords of Dogtown came out like fucking early 2000s, right?
It did, right? Okay. I'm just
2005,
like,
6.
that's
or
how
something
old
like
I am. Like, I think I watched it again maybe recently. So.
Funny.
Yeah, because I mean, what's his name was still alive? Fucking the dude
Tony
in Knight's
Alba?
Tale. No, Knight's
No, no.
Tale.
Oh, Knight's Tale's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Shit, I
he
The
was
can't
guy that
very-
played Joker.
The Joker.
Yeah. I
Right
didn't-
on the tip of my tongue.
None of us.
But somebody in the chat will tell us here in 2
chat will
seconds.
say
So
Yeah, he,
So-
what-
go ahead.
yeah,
hell
he
was
was
his
still
name?
alive because he was he played.
He was in
um,
the night. Yeah, the night.
Yeah,
I can't think of it.
Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Somebody
right
will
now
say.
off the top of my head.
Anyway, nonetheless,
Heath Ledger.
Heath
Ledger.
Ledger.
Thank you.
God
Will-
damn it,
Will
Wilkery. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Ah, Will Craze in the chat. What's up? Holler?
Yes.
Absolutely. So
And I
that's
love this
awesome.
community, man. Like I've always loved like the podcasting. Yeah, I've always loved you guys, and like I don't know, man. I've always been a
Likewise.
big fan of you guys, and a big fan of like the Drinking Bros. And like it's like it's weird though because like I don't jump into chats. I listen to all the shows. I listen to RPR, and I'm like not really a part of Near Nation, but I was like I fucking tried to jump in the chat the other day, and like somebody like shit on me really quick. They're like, oh yeah, it's like look who, oh like fucking must not be having a good time. So it's like I'm definitely not like welcome anymore, even though there was like no bad blood between us and
Ah.
You're
Drinking
always
Bros.
welcome in ours.
Yeah,
It was
You're
really
always
funny though,
welcome.
like when we left the network, it was just like people were sending me the craziest messages about like how I fucked up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, you realize like it was like nobody, like they didn't make me leave. It's
There was no hard feelings.
It was
across
like,
the board.
yo, the fucking ad agency hates you. There's nothing
Business
you can do.
decision goes other ways.
You have GhostBed. If you just take GhostBed by yourself, then you don't have to give us the 30% and you can take all your GhostBed money and keep going on your own. And like, it was like, Ross Patterson is one of the nicest human beings.
We've known him for years and years and years.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so like, it was weird to like get all these like super crazy hate. And I don't respond to him just because I'm
people assume they know what happened or
do you give a shit?
They're like, don't you feel fucking dumb, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, like, listen, like one, it's all business, you know, they shit on Mike the Cop and, you know, but Mike the Cop is all business and he's fucking really successful. And you know what? He'll wipe his tears with his millions of dollars that he's made on social media. So
I'm like, he's got 500,000 followers.
Well, and you know what? This is supposed to be fun. You shouldn't give a fuck.
No,
period. It's supposed to be fun.
That's absolutely. We don't have lots of followers.
We don't have.
We've got a few hundred. You know what I mean?
And we think that's good because we started off with like 5.
We do it for fucking fun so we can talk to you guys.
Yeah,
dude, I love it, man. And like, I love like
Eric. It's been awesome.
So I have to tell you, I'm really struggling. So at the end of every show, and Duke, you have to think about this for a second. We end with a feel good, like what just makes you smile. And I'm teetering between so many.
It's just a feel good. It's like something cool
is it that I
that's
got
happened.
To interact with you guys?
Hang on a
it
second. Think about it
Tansey's Boys of Summer haircut? Or is it the picture of Flo behind you? Because that is Flo behind you, right?
That's Casey Anthony.
No, really?
That's Casey Anthony.
It looks like
that right there.
Yeah, it looked like Flo.
Lean your head to the right or the left. That's Casey Anthony.
It reminds me of Flo. Doesn't it look like Flo from?
Definitely. Is that what gives you a? Is that a feel good?
No, I didn't know that was her.
That's Casey Anthony.
I didn't know it was her, bitch. I
That's
thought it was
feel good.
You know what? I'm about to give you a
mom. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go with. Oh shit, she does kind of look like Flo though.
She's got dark hair.
Yes. Well, and it's all pulled back.
You know what?
So then I'm gonna go with a boys cut of summer.
If nobody knew, like in 20 years, 30 years, nobody knows her name.
Yeah.
She's hot.
She's not.
You're
hot.
going back on the wall. You know what you did.
It's the boys. It's the boys of summer cut. Then.
Be careful. I'll let her babysit you.
No.
I've got Bill Cosby. I got a picture of Bill Cosby on the other wall.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Thanks for making me embarrassed.
Yeah.
Babe.
So my feel good is literally, I love talking skateboarding. I love talking all things. And I don't have a lot of people that I can talk skateboarding with anymore. My brother grew up skateboarding and stuff like that. The kids next door come over and I've got 3 or 4 skateboards in my garage and they'll rip up and down the neighborhood. And it's cool because they're girls and they're like, can we go ride the skateboard? I'm like, always like, ride the skateboards.
Yeah.
So that's my feel good, is thanking you guys for talking skateboarding with me. What about you,
Duke,
Eric?
what's yours?
Duke.
Okay. Well, let me go first.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go first.
It's Father's Day weekend, and I'm doing a podcast with Nooner Nation dudes, with Nooner family, with Drinking Bros family, like you guys, right? Yeah. Beth and Greg, and like, what a dream come true, man. Like 6, 7, 8 years ago, man, like I was just sitting in my cop car, listening to Drinking Bros, being a huge fanboy, not knowing Ross Patterson, not knowing any of those guys.
Yeah.
And now like I'm on a podcast with Drinking Bros that I was in the chats with 6 years ago. You guys, and I'm with my son, man. And like, for Father's Day weekend, like, man, that is fucking cool, dude. Like, how many other dads could say like I got the podcast with my 10-year-old on a podcast?
That's a crazy thing.
It's fucking wild, man.
That's so cool.
I think that's
awesome.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
so.
I like that one. We'll take it. Duke, what's yours?
Duke, what do you got?
Well, wait, what did I have to say?
You feel good. Like what's your
what makes you smile? What makes you smile?
Cool.
Yeah, like what happened to you this week? That's like the fucking craziest thing in the world that made you feel really good.
Yeah.
I just love doing podcasts with my friends.
No. That's a fucking bullshit political answer.
No.
What happened this week? That's like the biggest news that you've ever gotten.
Your dad obviously knows the answer.
I won a free trip to Woodward.
There you go.
Nice. Congratulations.
But I am also happy to be on this podcast, especially with my dad. I mean, most kids don't get to do that. Like go on a podcast with their dad.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm just kidding.
And this is like a really big podcast. It's just like how far I've gotten. I just feel so lucky. Like,
No, we thank
That's
you
really
so
sweet. Now go
much.
get me another fucking beer.
dang. Oh,
No.
well,
Oh,
back
right
to
in
the
the
good
heart.
old days, I guess.
Just get him another hot one. Get him another
It
hot
was
one.
fun
No.
while it lasted, but back to
Dude,
the
no.
good old days.
You nailed it. I think so. Woodward was always the one. Woodward was this like remote thing that I could never get to because it was back in the day.
Yeah, that's where I
There
met
was
all
only a
my
couple
dream
of them, right?
skaters.
Wow.
Yeah, right. And I
Tall.
never got to go there, but I go to like remote. And I hope you enjoy it and you crush it and you get shit tons of
Have
video.
fun. That's the
Get
most important
lots and
thing.
lots of video
Have fun.
because I'm really excited to see how you progress, dude.
If you have any shirts in my size and send me one,
We're
I
gonna.
will get as much pictures as I can.
I'll
in
send
that
you a
shirt
couple
at
out.
Woodward. I
I'll
will
send
give
you-
you
When
as
you
much
leave,
as I can. I'm gonna show you off as like a sponsor. I'm gonna do that.
what color
I'm
you
gonna
like? Blue or green?
That's awesome. Blue or
blue,
green?
Blue all
Blue.
day.
All right.
And what?
Blue all
When do
day.
you leave?
When is that?
August
We'll talk.
Yeah,
Okay,
August
so
13.
We got a couple of days. Okay, I will FedEx a blue
We got
Need-
some time.
small
Oh yeah, you
medium
got till
to you.
August. You got till
All right,
August.
all right. Dude,
That's
all right.
so cool, man. Thank you guys.
Where
Yeah, of
can we find you guys? Where do you want?
On, like,
Eric,
Instagram?
go first. Yeah,
Uh,
let your dad go first, real quick.
Oh, dude,
Go
just
through-
Failure to Stop podcast. I mean, if you like my stupid comedy, you can go to @Eric Tansey official. That was Eric Tansey official was something the Drinker Bros made me do. They started the Instagram for me. And
it's probably
like,
a good idea though.
Oh yeah, it was a great idea. I mean, it was super rad. But like, I never really kind of figured it out. So I have fun. I do some comedy on there. I don't know, like
Yeah.
I just try to fake it to make it. But definitely
good.
follow Grommet Vommit.
Yeah, that's-
podcast for sure. If you have kids, man, like if you have kids, like that's a cool podcast, man. There's no other podcast out there with kids
100%.
leading the charge, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Duke, talk about that real quick. What do you like about your Grommet Vomit? What's coming up?
Podcasting?
Yeah, your
podcasting.
Grommet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got
I
on the
like
docs?
seeing the
Oh,
big
what
people.
episodes you got coming out? Who do you got? Like,
Yeah, who do you
in the
got?
queue
You-
that we've already done that we haven't released?
Are
yet?
you allowed to talk about them, or is it top
Yes,
secret first and foremost?
I am. Okay, so we just did a Grommet Vommit podcast today with I forgot his name. What is it?
Oh, Ryan Mead.
Ryan Mead. We did one
Nice.
with Ryan Mead. He's amazing. I saw him do like an eggplant, but like when he's in the air, he like takes his hand and makes his board do a tray flip and then go back in.
So,
And, yeah,
okay.
he's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's a pro he was on a Tony Alva team.
Yeah, we
Gotcha.
have a
Like you did Pikerman.
parachuter. Yeah, we have.
Oh
wait,
yeah,
he
you have like
isn't
you have
out
like the
yet?
Tony Hawk of
Has-
base jumpers,
is
the
he not
squirrel suit
out?
dudes. He's got like the Red Bulls.
Is Pikerman not out yet?
No, Pikerman's not out.
Oh,
yet.
we need to get that one out because that was like so gnarly. That one was awesome.
That's
and
awesome.
Then, and so like Duke got to do that podcast. That's another one of his like favorite skaters. He writes for Toy Machine. He's 15
Nice.
years old.
And
Oh, wow.
And
Templeton's company.
yeah,
Big
he
fan.
writes for Toy
Yeah.
Machine, and Duke just loves him, loves his social media, and has been following him for a long time. And so Duke's been trying to get him on their podcast for like since they started in January.
Yeah,
And
but
so
he
they
lives
got
so
to
far
get him.
away,
He's so far away, and so they got the kid on the podcast at live at Jackalope, and while they were doing the podcast, they find out that they are in the same heat competing with each other
Oh
10
shit.
minutes
Oh,
after the
shit.
show's over.
And
Oh,
you know what
wow.
happened?
What?
Dreams do come
They
true.
we were in the same heat, and in the heat, I think one person moves up from that heat.
Yeah.
But me and Pikerman, they moved both of us up in the same heat. I don't know why. I don't know if we both skated really good or I don't know. Maybe it was because
They put 'em both in the finals, so-
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
and then
Yeah.
Pikerman won the whole thing. And
Yeah,
then,
first place. I didn't place at all.
there's a couple
I'm not that
thousand.
good.
You were just there
I made
though.
the
That's
podium.
rad.
I'm not that
Made-
good.
yeah,
There
that's
you go.
awesome. Who cares? You just
Have
keep
fun.
crushing it,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
are you want to shout out any sponsors for your skating stuff?
Yeah, for one, I'm just gonna shout out Jackalope,
Right on.
and I also have a beef jerky sponsor,
Okay.
Outbound Beef Jerky. I want to give a shout out to them,
Nice.
and
Who's your big sponsor?
oh, my big sponsor,
Skateboards.
DeVille. I also have Yoka Hair Skateboards, but DeVille
There you go.
is what I ride for, and
That's your team. You're on the
Yeah.
DeVille skate team, and Yoka Air sends you like 3 boards a month.
I
yeah,
always see the
Wow.
skateboards.
That's rad.
yeah,
Huh.
my board setup right now is Yoka Hair, but DeVille has just hooked me up when I was there. Like when I need stuff, like they give
It
us
just shows up in your
50% off there.
mailbox.
They give us 50% off, and they only live like not even an hour away.
Nice.
So they give us 50% off, but when we need stuff, but like when we need some shoes and decks, they'll give it to us for free.
Nice.
Because like they know we need it. Like they're really nice. They're
Because you're
awesome.
ripping through all your gear. I was
Yeah, I'm
telling your
ripping-
dad,
I'm
like I
ripping through my
texted him a
gear.
while back. I was like, shoe goo is the
Yeah.
way
we
I
have
grew up.
Shugu. We
I
have
grew up
Shugu,
on
but-
shoe goo, man. Like
Yeah.
Vans wear out.
Yeah, but it is kind of expensive. A
Real
little bit.
quick, there's
So,
a
I mean,
new grip
sometimes-
tape. Check out the.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know what
the
it is.
rubber shit.
Rubber grip tape. It's supposed
Yes.
to not be. I
And
don't.
we've
I've
tried
never
it. Like
ridden
we
it.
fucked with it. We like played with it a little bit, but I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
It's like it takes away the feel. It's like it's kind of
It's
even
not
grip-
slippery. You can't
It's
slide
not
as easy.
slippery, like you can't slide as easy, but yeah, exactly. But
You're gonna have to lift your foot a little bit more to move your foot
yeah,
on the
but
board.
like it's better. Like it's not the feel.
I'll be
isn't
curious.
right? But it's like it's
It's
better.
not
like, I
ripping your
think you
shoes
grip
up.
a little more. It's not ripping your shoes up. It's gripping a little
Right.
more. I mean,
I
your
just
shoes-
saw it the other day, like on Instagram or something like that. You have to keep me posted on that. I'll be really
Yeah.
curious.
it's a little bit pricey.
No, it's
it's just, like,
actually
nobody carries it.
cheaper. It's cheaper and it's
Yeah, but
grippier.
I have to
But
pay like shipping and handling and shit.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
But it's
Yeah, but you
like-
know what? It's either that or $100 pair of freaking Vans, bro.
Yeah, but we get shoes like once a month
For-
from.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow,
For
all
four,
right.
for
Okay.
3 kids.
well,
or whatever,
I mean,
you know?
That's true. Well, yeah, but all 3 of my kids ride for DeVille, so they all get like
Oh, gotcha.
fully fucking
Okay.
hooked up.
So I mean,
Oh,
sometimes,
okay, all right.
sometimes you have to pay
All right.
for it because it is a lot of shoes. Like
yeah, we don't
You
pay
guys-
for grip tape, so I don't give a shit.
Nice. Yeah. All right.
There you go. All right, that's the other side of it.
Yeah,
For
but it's
everyone
good.
else that's not sponsored, check
Yeah.
out the
That rubber
sticky-
grip tape is
Yeah.
pretty cool though. That we got a friend that rides it, and it's pretty wild to look at.
I'm kind
And
of curious. Yeah.
I'd like to see it take off. Who knows? Maybe it's the future. Should be. It should be the
Yeah.
future. Should be the standard. But right now, it's hard to find except online.
Okay. I've only seen it just in a couple of Instagram videos. so-
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Cool
we're
shit,
gonna
man.
wrap this shit up. Thank you guys
Thank you,
so
guys.
much for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah,
no,
this
Hang
was
in
so
there.
much fun.
You. This
No,
is like
you-
a
thank you.
dream. Like
What do you
I
mean
love
it's a
being
dream?
on other people's podcasts.
And we love
well,
having
that's
you,
really
bro.
fun.
We'll
Thank
have
you
you back
so much.
then.
Hang in there for a second. Get on to everybody that's listening and go get on a skateboard. Check out your local park. I think that's an amazing thing. You might bump into the Tansey family,
Maybe.
Tansey clan, and maybe
Yeah.
Duke can give you a quick tutorial
lesson?
on a kickflip or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You never know. Might
I have-
happen.
I have my YouTube, which has like
Yeah, show that.
one how to ollie video
Oh,
and
sweet.
Nice.
a like.
What's that called? What's that under?
Kind of.
We kind of like got rid of it. I mean, it's
Like-
still out there. I think it's called like Tansey Fam.
Yeah, we
but,
might
like,
do
Okay.
something with it.
Right
but
on.
like,
Grommet Vommit
not
is the
big.
YouTube channel you want to go.
Grommet
and follow.
Vommit's the
So-
one
I
you
mean,
wanna
like
follow.
we're gonna add on to it, but like not that much. Like
Okay.
not as much as our Instagram, but like we'll add on to it every now and then.
Sure.
Right
All
on.
Very cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Well,
guys.
thank you guys so much. Hang in for just a second, Eric and
Okay.
Duke. We appreciate it. Everybody else, go out, like, subscribe to the show. We
Yes.
appreciate you hanging
We
out
will see you
there.
guys on
And we'll
Wednesday.
catch you Wednesday.
Love you guys. Have a great
Cheers.
weekend.
You too.